Hello, you're watching News Mongolia and MNB World. I'm your host, Ayundatar Basakho. Our top stories: 1,636 COVID-19 cases and 12 additional deaths reported. Mongolian tourism sector expects revival from 2024. The Mongolian State History Museum will be merged with the Chinggis Khaan Museum. For other news, stay tuned. The Ministry of Health reported that 1,636 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed today and 12 people have died. The Ministry of Health today on October 29th has reported that 1,636 new COVID-19 cases were detected in the past 24 hours after tests were carried out at PCR laboratories across the country. Unfortunately, 12 people died due to COVID-19 complications. All new cases are of domestic transmission, 965 out of which were confirmed in Ulaanbaatar, and the remaining 671 were confirmed in the provinces. 17,349 COVID-19 patients are being treated at hospitals nationwide. Additionally, 53,095 patients are being treated at home. Among the 17,349 COVID-19 patients being treated at hospitals nationwide, 8,058 are showing mild symptoms of illness and 364 are in critical condition. Currently in Mongolia, over 2.2 million people have received their first COVID-19 vaccine dose nationwide, and over 2.1 million have received a second dose of a vaccine. The Mongolian tourism sector that received 1 million foreign tourists in 2019 has faced a big downturn during the last 2 years. In that period, 30% of companies operating in the tourism and hospitality sector had to close their doors.
Now the next challenge is to retain 80,000 workplaces of the remaining 1,600 businesses.
We're studying what kind of solutions and regulations are currently enforced in other countries' tourism sectors during the COVID-19 pandemic. We're also studying foreign best practices and stages of reopening the country to foreign visitors and tourism in Mongolia. Our tour operators and the Tourism Association are planning to develop one integrated directive on hosting foreign tourists during the pandemic and organizing regional tours and package tours.
Countries that have used similar vaccines can exchange tours with each other. This is called a travel bubble. Also, there is a possibility of opening borders to countries with only minor cases of COVID-19 or countries that have become a green zone.
Tour companies are working to develop new tourism products like digital online traveling and creating distinctive images for Mongolian tours. For example, Khinty province was announced as a tourism historic region of Mongolia by the government. Therefore, major attractions are being developed in the region.
Major tourism complexes are being constructed in Khinty province, major towns like Spitr, Tatar and Dilgarha. We expect to launch operations by 2024 and host up to 160,000 tourists annually. COVID-19 has become a trigger of renewal for the tourism sector. So tour companies are working on retaining their workforce, enhancing their skills and creating new products.
Organized for the 22nd year, the ICT Expo exhibition attracted more than 150 state and private entities.
At the regular cabinet meeting held this week, several decisions were made. Notably, the Mongolian State History Museum will be merged with the Chinggis Khaan Museum. Details are in the following story.
The Mongolian State History Museum will be closed from January 1, 2022 and merged with the Chinggis Khaan Museum. The Chinggis Khaan Museum's administration has been instructed to organize the transfer of museum property, exhibits and artifacts to its balance sheet in cooperation with all relevant organizations within the framework of the law. The Mongolian State History Museum is an extension of Government House and it has 4 exhibition halls, serves an average about 24,000 people a year and has 18 full-time employees. There are 1,237 exhibits of 703 treasures including gold, silver and copper coins of the Khans of the Great Mongol Empire, aristocratic clothing found in the Tsagahanan cave in Noinsom of South Gobi province dating back to the 13th century. The Mongol queen's head from the tomb of Burkhan Talga in Dilghansom, Hinti province, and other rare artifacts of ancient and modern history.
Thank you for staying tuned with us on MNB World. Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
The President of Mongolia, Khurelsukh, visited New York from September 19 to 23rd. The cabinet discussed and instructed the Minister of Foreign Affairs to submit the outcomes of the General Comment of the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly to the National Security Council. A loan provided by the Japan Bank for International Cooperation to the Ulaanbaatar Railway, a Mongolian-Russian joint venture, was discussed, and it was decided to submit the details of the loan to Parliament for resolution. The Minister of Justice and Home Affairs briefed the cabinet regarding the progress of the working group responsible for reducing the corruption index. The Deputy Prime Minister Amr Sakhan and the Minister of Construction and Urban Development Mukbatar were instructed to develop a draft resolution on the establishment of the Khushuk Valley Free Economic Zone. The deadline for the draft is the fourth quarter of this year, and it will be discussed at the next cabinet meeting.
Now let's check on the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Following this, let's tune in for our regular feature on sports. The Asian Football Confederation Under-23 Asian Cup qualifiers kicked off on Monday. The J Group matches are taking place in Ulaanbaatar. The second match of the Mongolian national team ended with a 1-0 loss to Malaysia.
The Asian Football Federation Under-23 Asian Cup Group J qualifiers are underway in Ulaanbaatar city. In the first match, Mongolia drew 1-0 with Thailand and then lost 1-0 to Malaysia. Malaysia took the lead with a goal at the end of the first half to lead the group with 6 points. Striker Noor Asfar Fikri got his second goal of the campaign after scoring in the 38th minute. Malaysia had 11 chances in the game, but Mongolia's defense proved to be resolute to keep the scoreline at 1-0. The Malaysian side, led by coach Brett Maloney, now top the table with 6 points. The Malaysians, who beat Laos 1-0 in the previous game, will play their next game against Thailand, while the Mongolians will play the last group game against Laos. The Thais, who drew 1-0 with Mongolia in the first match, won their second match against Laos with a score of 3-0. The team with the highest score in the group will qualify for the Asian Cup. Due to the international competition during the pandemic, the stadium of the Mongolian Football Federation is only 50% full. The pre-match meeting was televised daily by head coach Masa Shuichi, a Japanese specialist who gave the players advice on how to play.
The AIBA World Amateur Boxing Championships are underway in Belgrade, Serbia. 9 Mongolian athletes went to the competition and 4 of them had won their first fights.
The International Boxing Association Men's World Championships are in their 4th day in Belgrade, Serbia. Last night, Chinggis Khaan defeated Vincenzo Maggia Capare of Italy 5-0 in the top 32. He will face Mexico's Marco Hernandez Alvidrez in the last 16 on the evening of November 1st. In the 67 kg weight category, Chinggis Khaan defeated Guatemala's Carlos Tobar Romero 4-1 in the first round to finish in the top 32. In the 63 kg weight class, Batumur Michel defeated Vasilios Makrianis of Greece 5-0 in the first round to finish in the top 32. He will fight Taiwan's Lai Chuen on the night of October 30th. In the 48 kg weight category, Kair Tangahoyuk defeated Rabin Tapa of Nepal 5-0 to reach the last 16. He will face Germany's Christopher Goman in the top 16 on the evening of October 30th. In the first round of the 60 kg weight category, the bronze medalist of the Asian Youth Championship, Totlok Oyunbatar, defeated Trinidad and Tobago's Donald Philip 5-0 to finish in the top 32. Ilhamar Kharhu lost to Kazakhstan's Herik Tamirjanov 5-0 in the first round. In the 51 kg weight category, Ilhamar Kharhu lost to Masoud Nusfizadah of Azerbaijan 4-1 in the first round. Bersahi Hamilton, the bronze medalist of the Asian Youth Championships in 54 weight category, and Biambirte Attombatter in the 71 kg weight category, will have their first fights tonight.
And here's the weather forecast for major cities around the world. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for staying tuned with us on MNB World. See you next week with more stories and updates. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.